Welcome in to Trust the Process Live. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Good. That was a hell of an intro just now.
Thank you. I've been trying to switch it up, get a little flavor.
Broke down every part of it.
You did a good job of switching
Thank
it
you.
up.
I'm a great
to say
hype
the
man.
least.
I'm a great hype man. What can I say? I could say a lot more, but I don't want to. I'm back on screen mainly because I wanted to, not because you told me to. I'm not conforming. I'm not a conformist. But as always, James Hyden, your host. To my immediate front on the stage, we got YG, the young gentleman himself. James Jackson, how you feel?
I'm feeling good, man. That's 5-2 for my Bucks, man. And my Todd Bowles winner last week. You're lucky I can't repeat winners on the show.
Every week, this guy gets a cupcake schedule, and the 1 week he loses, he takes
Packers
all.
are cupcake?
Well,
Packers are
me
cupcakes?
The Packers
to
are-
me.
You're preaching to the wrong guy.
Yeah, wrong choir.
Don't be mad at me because when we get cupcake teams,
Cupcake.
we take care of the
Cupcake
cupcake
games.
team.
Oh
We don't
my
tie the
goodness.
cupcake
Oh my
team.
goodness.
Like, yo.
Mr. 5 Digits, Max Coolish, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. Like always, was not worried on last Thursday. Not once, not even for a second. Not when the Eagles were down 11 with 5.5 to go. No, sir.
Okay.
Delusions of greed.
Josh, what's up, man?
Well, I was worried. I'm doing good. I enjoyed my nice Sunday where I didn't have to watch the Eagles. Enjoyed Red Zone, and I didn't think it would take
Not
me.
gonna last.
I didn't think it would take me till week 7 to pull out the Carson Wentz shirt, but
Wow.
it did.
Wow.
This is a great weekend of football. I was on, honestly, my guys
This was
my guys
easily
my
the
guys
best
were on
weekend.
by.
Easily.
I was red zone all day.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic week of football. From the early slate to the afternoon slate. And that Sunday night game, probably the game of the year so far. That's
Yep.
one heck of a game right there. But we got more important stuff to talk about. So let's
about
jump
y'all.
right into
Let's
it.
talk about
Let's
y'all.
jump
Let's talk about
right
y'all. Let's do it.
into it.
to.
Let's jump right into it. Main event. Coming in hot. Max, I'm coming to you first. What a game. What a game. What a game. What a game. Thursday night football. It is what it is. But should the Eagles fans, should we be celebrating? Or should we be pumping the brakes? It's only the Giants. I don't know. I'm asking the question. I'm not telling you. You tell me.
What's the question? Are we pumping the
Are
brakes?
we excited or are we pumping said brakes? And I'm asking you this first because of your car issue.
Make it hurt.
You
I
know,
love it. Make it
But
hurt.
Am I Am I excited
That's
or am I
fine.
pumping the brakes? You
That's
tell
fair.
me.
That's fair.
You tell me.
See, I don't know. Like, how can you be excited after such
I don't know. You tell
such
me.
an eke out of a win? But I mean, on the other hand, it's hard not to be
I was
excited.
about to say, but you're excited.
It's hard not to
Sit
be
there
excited
and
when
lie
your
to me
team,
and
like, no matter the
yourself.
circumstance, no matter who you're playing, if you were down 2 possessions with less than half a quarter to go, that's any kind of comeback win in that situation is objectively exciting. Obviously, you don't want it to be a struggle against the Giants. Obviously, if a couple other things go the Giants' way, we probably don't win that game. But that's not what happened. The Eagles won. Carson Wentz is, if anything, or if he's not anything, he's at least clutch, at least against the Giants and the Washington football team. Money in the jar for that one.
50 cents for that one.
But yeah, I did. All right.
I think we should actually start that.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Whenever
definitely
we get
should.
to enough money, we'll.
Because the R word is
Buy the team.
because the
Yeah,
R
well,
word is
We'll buy naming rights.
the R word is a name we shouldn't be saying. To be in all seriousness,
Right.
you know, so we shouldn't be. So I'm gonna knock you like $2. every
No,
time
that's
I say
fine.
it.
That's $2 is nice. I like that.
Yeah, $2,
Yeah.
nice and even. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want to hear your take. You're always more pessimistic than I am on the
Before you
Eagles.
go, if you could have said any of that with a straight, he literally had a smirk on his face the whole time.
Because I'm
he said it.
happy. You got me,
if
you got me
could've-
deep in my emotions
If
again.
you could have said any of that, what you just said, being exciting,
I can.
Carson Wentz is clutch, eking out all of that. If you could have said any of that with a straight face, I would have believed
If
you.
you really want to know why I'm laughing, I cannot get the image of Daniel Jones falling out. Like, I'm not even joking. I wanted to make a joke about that, and that's why I started
Before-
to smile, because that was so funny.
Before you go, Josh,
Yeah.
that is my answer in a nutshell. It is a microcosm of that game, is going 80 yards untouched and then just falling and failing to finish the game if you're the New York Giants and you're Daniel Jones. I mean, up 2 scores with 2 minutes to go. Like, you need to win that football game. To me, it was less of the Eagles winning it as the Giants just finding themselves in a situation that they literally had not been in except for one other time this season and not knowing how to complete the game. Almost being shell-shocked that they're in a position to close out a tough NFC East battle, go into first or second place of the division, and they tripped over their own feet. Like getting too hyped for the moment and not knowing how to finish. That was more of what I saw. I'll finish after you, but go ahead. But I needed to.
Is that not just like the personification of David Gettleman?
Of it all.
It's
Like,
just like-
I mean, that's what everyone. That's the NFC East.
It's,
That's
it's,
the
yeah,
Eagles,
it's,
that's the
it was
Giants,
literally
Literally
like
of
it's
it
like
all.
that social media thing, like Sniper. Like it's some
Oh yeah.
That's a long gun right there. They got him.
I saw the Bradley Cooper American Sniper evade.
Oh,
when
yeah.
that comes out,
Bang.
you hurt yourself.
But Josh, pump my brakes or get me excited. Do it.
You know, I mean, I like how Max says I'm usually the one who's more pessimistic, and he's
You are.
right. But the thing is, I think the fact that I was more pessimistic going to Thursday means I am not pumping the brakes. I think this win should be celebrated by Eagles fans. I think you should feel good about this win on Thursday because in my eyes, I was saying it last Monday, Max, you weren't with me, but I thought we were going to lose to the Giants. Because when you take out...
That's why I said you're more pessimistic.
Well, that's true. But the fact that they won that game, the fact that Carson Wentz had the game that he did with that cast, that proved to me this is what this team is capable of. This is their ceiling. And yes, maybe you shouldn't be excited.
This is their
whoa,
ceiling.
whoa,
This is their ceiling.
With that personnel, without a tight end, without a running back, without a real wide
So
receiver,
their ceiling, this team.
with that team that they put out on Thursday night, JJ?
Okay, newsflash, man. They're not putting out any crazy different of a team going forward in this season.
I think they
the only,
might.
the only different team they're going out is when Zach Ertz and Miles Sanders come out. One person who hasn't even performed this season.
Well, look, I would say that a Zach Ertz, a Miles Sanders, a Dallas Goedert team, it's miles of a difference. Because not only the amount of times I've heard this argument about Carson Wentz, where he doesn't have his cast around him, and that's, he can throw over 200 yards because he doesn't have his cast around him. Well, what about this? 350 yards, game-winning drive, two game-winning drives without a cast around him, okay? So that's what I want to focus on. Yeah, it wasn't a clean win. Yes, we shouldn't in a typical season be celebrating a eked out win against the Giants by 1 point. But this isn't a typical season. This isn't an Eagles team with full strength. And I just disagree because I think when you get some of these guys who are healthy, it's going to look like a different team. And it just comes back to what were your expectations going in Thursday? If you were expecting a classic Eagles take care of business Thursday win, you should be disappointed. But you have to get real. This is not the typical Eagles team.
I know what he did.
What
He
did I
put
do,
the bar
JJ?
so low, so
Yeah, I
down
did.
here.
I
that-
did. I mean,
that's fair. That's a fair strategy.
Yeah, when you
anything
tied the
that
Bengals,
happens-
you deserve
anything
to have the bar
happens-
that low.
I think that's a fair strategy.
So what I saw was what I've been seeing against the Steelers, what I saw against the Ravens, is putting together 3 mediocre subpar quarters and then coming back and playing good football when you're back against the wall, only when you absolutely have to.
That
And
is the mantra of this team.
And the difference is,
Oh, yeah.
against the Steelers and the Ravens, you don't win the game.
Yeah.
But against the Giants, you win the game. You're not going to play the Giants every season. You're not going to play the Giants or every week. You're not going to play
but
the Giants.
you get the
most
Cowboys
weeks.
next
Don't
week.
scare me by saying we're not going to play the Giants. I need that. I need that twice a year.
You're not
Need that twice a year.
going to play the Giants every week. You're going to actually go up against good football teams that, you might play very inspired football like you did against the Ravens for the fourth quarter. You might inch yourselves back into the game. But if you're not going to put a full game together, if Carson Wentz isn't going to put a full game together, you're not going to come out with a win like you came out with a win. A 1-point win like you did against the Giants. And if you're going to talk about objectively, Max, let's go objectively and say, did you win it or the Giants lose it? Objectively.
I'm going to say the Eagles won it.
I'm going to agree with Max. I think the
I'm
Eagles
gonna
won
di-
that.
I would disagree.
I think it's a close split, but I think
It's closer than.
I think there was no enormous egregious screw up on the Giants when they were trying to close out the game. They just simply weren't able to move the ball and control the clock.
That is the egregous screw up. It's
No.
not being able to-
I think an egregious screw up is a turnover or just something that goes
boneheaded,
catastrophically wrong. Not the Eagles.
A
buckling down
good
defense, no.
football team goes into that scenario up 2 scores with 2 minutes and some change to go and controls the football enough to where you don't get the ball twice in 2 minutes. Like a good football team controls the clock and the ball enough to where you don't have enough time to come back 2 scores in that little amount of time
we know the Giants suck.
without a turnover. My point exactly.
Without a turnover is exactly why I think the Eagles won this game because they managed the clock perfectly. They got the stops on defense when needed.
Yep.
The last drive was orchestrated with no timeouts or 1 timeout maybe. But even still, they did not have the full resources to work with.
And even so, I think you either have a good football team can do one of 2 things in that scenario. Either hold on to enough to where you don't lose the game, you end up running out the clock so Eagles don't have enough time to win, or a quarterback realizes that we may need even more of a cushion, so we may need to go down and put points on the board so they're not able to catch back up so that a field goal doesn't win the game.
But
or
just because you
doesn't
can
win the
say
game.
it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
But a good football team is able to do that. You're trusting Daniel Jones to be able to pick up in the last point and drive a football team down the field and do that?
Look, there's no secret. Evan Ingram dropped that ball that would have ended the game. So, yeah, you're right. But the bottom line is it didn't, because this is the National Football League where mistakes happen.
Because
and
this is the
anything
New
can
York
happen every game.
Giants.
Yes.
Because this is the New York Giants.
You're nitpicking hard here. This
Yeah,
is like
I'm looking at what I saw.
The Eagles
like
100% won the game. The Eagles made the stops in the final 3 minutes, which is very rare for an Eagles team to do. They made those stops when it mattered most. And yes, there was that one play but like they were going to march down the field. Daniel Jones was throwing it and bounced off Evan Ingram's fingers. The fact is, Wentz marched down the field in that final drive and he scored, and the defense stopped them.
So let me take you from there.
All right.
Let me take that point because that's
Okay.
where I was getting to. Is the Wentz wagon back? Do we?
I mean, look at
do-
this guy's
so
shirt.
do we
Like, that's
do
all
we-
it takes.
So
This
do we,
is all
like,
it takes.
Do we
Make it
fix
out.
the? Do we fix the wheel? Do we put it back on?
No.
Or did we?
This,
like,
I'm
this
just
is
gonna-
what this
go
is
ahead.
what you guys did. The wheels fall off, and you glued them back on,
Oh,
and you stuck it, and then you looked at it, and it didn't drop for 5 seconds, so you all piled back on it. That's all you needed to see.
We used wood glue on a car.
You slapped a Band-Aid on it, and then you're like, oh, we're ready to get back on it. Look at his shirt. That's all we need. This is all we need to see to hop right back on it and then forgive him for all his past sins, right? Tell me that, Max.
I don't know why we're supposed to
Tell me that,
chastise
Max.
and shun our quarterback after a good performance. Can you see the logic in this? Why we shouldn't be excited over a quarterback who just orchestrated another game-winning drive?
I-
I don't care who it's against. I really don't.
You
Look,
should
I
care
really
who
don't.
it's against.
Well,
You shouldn't care who it's against.
you're right.
Wins are wins.
Thank you.
Losses are different compared to who they're against. I don't care how we beat the Giants. I don't care how we beat anyone, quite frankly. If it's by a point or if it's by 40, it's still a win in the win column.
Wins,
So what I
wins are
would
at
say-
a premium this year.
I
for
would
you,
say
huh?
that-
Wins are at a premium every year.
I would say that the Eagles didn't win this game again. I'm going to go back to my point from the past couple weeks. Carson Wentz won this game.
Yeah, Carson Wentz
I wouldn't agree with that. I would say the
125%.
Eagles won this game, but
I think Carson
he
Wentz
was
won this
certainly the
game.
biggest reason why the Eagles won
Here's
this game.
why, and I'm just trying to keep you guys honest. One, I do want to give Carson Wentz
always honest.
a whole.
Well,
I want to give Carson Wentz a whole lot of credit. He looked spectacular on those final 2 drives. He pulled out a win. No one has ever questioned this dude's physical or mental toughness. That's not what. And I think that was on full display on those last 2 drives. And I think a lot of quarterbacks can take a page out of what Carson Wentz did against the Giants. Of sometimes
read option ability?
not that, but sometimes you need to have a short memory as a quarterback. Sometimes you need to shrink the game down to what it is right now.
Carson Alzheimer Wentz is what we call him.
And he looked at the game with 2:38 or something on the clock and said, I need 2 drives. I need to put 2 drives together so my team can win this football game. I don't care what I've done the rest of this game. I don't care what I've done in previous games. I don't care what the narrative is about me right now. If I get the ball, I'm going to go and score. And he did that. I give him so much props for that. But I'm not going to completely forget about Carson Wentz's wrongdoings or say that he's raised it to the level of which we need to see him play until he puts 60 minutes of a football game together. That's what I need to see. Until he puts 60 minutes, and the Giants are a team to do that. The Giants are a team to go out and put a full game together. You don't got to be flawless. You don't got to complete every single pass. But I need to see a significant improvement from what has put you so far below the bar that we expect you to play at. And I only saw that for 2 drives. That's all I saw that for. 2 drives.
JJ, I like what you're talking about Carson Wentz's bar, though, because I feel like this is the bar that he should be held to. This performance that he played against the Giants, that's the guy we drafted. Maybe not for all 4 quarters, but him winning that game, his 350 yards, that's the guy we drafted. So when it's the other way around.
But you paid him to do it for
Listen,
4
yes,
quarters.
I understand. No. But I'm to your point here. When we see a Carson Wentz game like we have against the Bengals, like we have against some of the other games he's had this year, specifically that Bengals game, though, we can't turn around and defend him.